All right.
Oh, I've got that up on the screen. Where is it?
Okay, good morning, everyone. Can you all hear me? Just drop it in the chat box if you can hear me. And I'll appreciate if everyone can mute. If you can please mute yourself. While the webinar is going on, if you have any questions, just put them in the chat box and we'll give attention to them. And if you need to say anything during the webinar, just indicate so that I'll be able to see you, then we can call you. But please kindly mute yourself while the program is going on.
Can we have their cameras on too? Would that be possible?
Yeah, if they want, you can put your camera on because later on we're going to do discussion, we're going to do question and answer, going to interact. So it would be nice if you can put a face to the name. I'd like to welcome everyone here this morning. This is about us in the fitness space. And I think in the last 1 or 2 months, there's been a lot of movement, a lot of changes that I think we are all happy to be involved with and to be part of. Can everybody hear me? Can give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay, thank you. All right, I'll just quickly like to share my screen. I'm not going to be the main person. I'm just going to lay the foundation. And we have...
That thing's still on here.
Sorry, you can't hear. Maybe you need to log out and then log in again. Somebody is saying he can't hear us. So if you can log out and then log in again, that might be, so if you can log out and then log in again, you might be able to hear. All right, okay. Right. If you can log out and then log in again, I think that will work. So I'll just quickly like to share my screen and then we take it from there. Okay, so this is about us. This is about us in the African space. And my name is Olaronke Gbadebo. I'll be just a little bit about myself. I've been a studio instructor now. I started my career back in England in 1996. That was when I did my first certification course in exercise to music. Then I started teaching in England before I moved to Nigeria. And greater part of my fitness career, I did it in Nigeria as a group fitness instructor. Taught at different fitness classes, ran private classes with the expatriate community, and then move over back to England about 6 years ago and continue with my fitness work. So here I'm still working as a group fitness instructor. I teach different kind of classes, but now I'm moving towards Eldorado. And today we have a special guest in our midst as well. Her name is Carol from Third Age Fitness in Australia. She's been a group fitness instructor for over 50 years. And, you know, I'm so happy that I'm meeting someone that has been doing it longer than I have. You know why? When I started my career back in Nigeria then, in 1997, I actually finished from university in 1990. I did my first degree in agriculture, was not related to fitness, but I've always been fitness inclined. So when I started teaching back in Lagos then, I mean, the kind of reception we were given as group fitness instructor was appalling. I remember a conversation I had with someone that could not believe that I was a graduate. You know, instructors were seen as people that, you know, like school leavers, people that had no ambition, you know. So to meet a graduate working as a group fitness instructor was something that they couldn't comprehend. So it was tough, you know, being in that fitness space. But I'm so happy that the terrain now has changed. Things have changed now, and it's no more the way it used to be. So I'm happy that we have Carol in our midst this morning, and we'll be learning from her, about our experience in the fitness industry and why it is important for us as group fitness instructors to be on top of our game and the role we play in nation development. Just for us to be aware, this is not the first time that I'm doing this kind of seminar. Sometimes 2020, during the time of COVID, I had something similar to this with Mr. Joel. Then Mr. Joel is the CEO of Institute of Registered Exercise Professionals in Nigeria. And then we had a Facebook Live program where we talked about the role of the fitness industry in nation development. I'm going to post the link on the chat later if you want to listen to it. And during that program, we spoke a lot about instructors and the need for certification, the need for us to encourage instructors to be certified. And she shared a lot about how it has been in Nigerian space. And when I was listening to that discussion this morning, comparing what we said then to what is happening now, I must commend that we have come a long way in the African space. The kind of discussion we had then and the things we're going to be talking about today, things have changed. And for me, I am happy. I am an happy woman this morning because that has been my passion for so many years, while working in Nigeria, that I've been fortunate. Most of my certification, I've done them in England. I used to come back, do courses and go back to Nigeria. And my heart used to just bleed that, my goodness, in Nigeria, we need to encourage instructors to be certified. So for me, it is a dream come true of what is happening in the African space today. I am happy. I am excited. It's one of the things I've listed, visions that I want to see fulfilled. So for me today, I'm a fulfilled woman. That one of the things I've written out to see happening in Nigeria and in African space is already taking place. So I'm so excited about what is happening in our midst. And I'm excited about instructors also that have joined us today to learn one or two things from our guest speaker. So I'll just quickly say a few things before we go, before I ask Carol to take over. So our focus this morning is fitness in the African space, the role of group fitness instructors, which Carol will be handling, and then challenges and certification. So what has been our journey? How has the journey been? In Africa, naturally, and it has been proven and is all over, even in if you check World Health Organization write-up, Africa as a continent, in terms of physical activity, we tend to move more. And I guess it's because of the nature of our work. We do a lot of hard labor. So in terms of physical activity as a way of life, it's higher in Africa as a continent. But in terms of physical activity, taking it up, being in terms of fitness is on the low side. But in the last couple of years, the terrain has changed, especially after COVID. The terrain changed after COVID because a lot of people became aware that underlying health issues brought on about lifestyle predisposed a lot of people that lost their life during COVID. And there are a lot of statistics online to be able to prove that. Somebody is not muted. Can you please mute yourself? Can everyone please mute themselves? Thank you very much. All right. Thank you. All right. So generally in Africa, we have high participation in recreational physical activity because, through farming, through hard labor, we move a lot. But in terms of deliberately making physical activity as part of our lifestyle, in terms of fitness, structured program, it's on the low side. But after COVID, that changed because of health challenges that people realized that they were experiencing. And in the last couple of years, there have been influx of fitness centers opening up. For example, in Nigeria, we have iFitness in Nigeria that has over 20 branches all over in Nigeria. In South Africa, we have Planet Fitness. And in other nations in Africa, we have different fitness centers that are opening up. So the awareness is there. Now, this is a figure I got from Global Wellness Institute about the top fitness markets in Africa before COVID. This is before COVID, but you will agree with me that the market has changed after COVID. The awareness for the need to deliberately include physical activity in our weekly. Somebody is not muted. Can you please mute yourself? Thank you very much. Somebody is not muted. The consciousness of exercising has increased, and therefore this figure is not the same. I tried as much as possible to try and see if I could get a current figure. It was a bit difficult, and that's one of the things I've also realized. And that also, I believe we're going to be working on to be able to put our statistics out there for people to see on the global page things that we are already doing in the African continent. That is how people can respect us. That is how they can listen to us, that we are not just talking, but there are facts, there are statistics that we have to be able to back up the things that we're already putting in place. Now, because of what happened during COVID, there is increased awareness and more focus on prevention rather than treating illness. A lot of, even in England here during COVID, it was the Black community that has the highest rate of mortality. And why was that? Because of underlying health issues, diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol level. These are statistics that are there on World Health Organization website that actually shows that in England, the Black community suffered the highest level of mortality because of our lifestyle. So because of that awareness, a lot of people have taken to fitness. A lot of people now exercise. That has brought demand on instructors. Now the demand for instructors is higher now before that compared to before COVID. So what has happened? What has been the outcome? During COVID, I remember it was during COVID I was active online. During COVID, I had to go online. I was still teaching all my classes, and we're doing it on Zoom throughout the COVID period, including older adults. Amazing. So during COVID, a lot of people came out online, virtual fitness program, the use of mobile fitness app increased, online fitness coaching, the evolution of social media in different ways, that we have never experienced before, the entry of different, fitness centers that are opening up. So the terrain has changed. And because of that, the demand for instructors has gone up. The demand for instructors has gone up. And because the demand for instructors has gone up, there is increased demand. Because of the increased demand, there is opportunity for career development. Opportunity for career development. We can't compare that to the time people like us started our fitness career. I was fortunate to have my training in England, but a lot of people in Africa, some became instructors because they trained themselves on YouTube, and they just watch some exercise video tapes on YouTube. And with that, they bring people together in their neighborhood and they start teaching and start calling themselves instructors. If you're an instructor there, you are not satisfied, may I just announce, the terrain has changed. The terrain has changed now that you cannot really move forward in your career by being a YouTube instructor. The terrain has changed now. The standard has gone up that if you want to embrace fitness as a career, especially being a group fitness instructor, you need to develop yourself by being trained, by being certified. So the demand for professionalism, for certification is higher now because we want to put ourselves on the global stage. We want people to respect us. We want people to listen to us. In England here, it does not matter what you think you know or how good you are. They want to see evidence, certification. I remember when I came back here about 6 years ago, I had to go back to school. I had to go back and do a lot of courses. There are so many things I knew, but I needed my certificate to be able to improve. And I'm just telling, even now, I've just finished another level core course in postural stability. So there is a need for us to be committed to our personal development, especially as group fitness instructors, because we are dealing with lives. We're dealing with people's lives. And I mean, just as you'll agree with me, you will not go to the hospital and allow a doctor that has not gone through medical school to attend to you. So my question is, why should we expect people to commit their life onto our hands when we are not trained for what we are offering them? So in this time that we are in now, there is a need for us to take certification seriously, because the emergence of African Active, Fit Africa, there is a call for standardization in the fitness industry in Nigeria. And for any group fitness instructors not to be left behind, there is a need for certification. So what is our role? What is our role in nation development as instructors? What do we bring to the market? Why are we important? Why is it that there is no nation that can really succeed in their global, in their wellness and fitness goal or dream or agenda without the input of group fitness instructors? Why are we so important? I'm going to leave that. I'm going to stop for now, and I'm going to leave that for Carol to answer. So thank you so much. If you have any questions or any contribution, you can please leave it in the chat box. Okay, so over to you now. Over to you now, Carol. I'm going to spotlight you for everyone. Okay, so over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ronki. Thank you very much for inviting me and also being part of the Fit Africa team. I am over the moon with excitement about being involved in the fitness industry as it evolves in Africa. I probably am a builder of things. I love building from the bottom up, and this is just so exciting for everybody in that industry. I've asked to speak tonight on the role of a group fitness instructor. The role of an instructor is very varied. Some people might think that you just get up there and do a few things jumping around. And I have seen some of the African classes. I've watched them, and I can't believe how the bodies bend in so many different ways. And it's great to see the energy and enthusiasm. But as instructors, we are there to encourage and educate. We encourage those around us to do the exercise, whether that is coming along to class or during a workout. But it's also an important role for people on the benefits of exercise and how to exercise safely and effectively. My name is Carol Edmeades, and I've been encouraging and educating people for a long, long time. Over 50 years, as Ronki said. It's actually 56 years I've been instructing exercise in some way, shape or form. So it's something that is a huge passion of mine. I thought as I aged it might fade a little bit, but I think it's gone the opposite direction. And I'm really more passionate than ever to encourage people and get them to exercise. I've learnt a lot, I've seen a lot, and of things that change over the time, as you can all imagine in that period. When I began, there were no qualifications whatsoever. There was no safety regulations at all. You just got up and somebody taught exercise, and that's how it happened. So it has come a long, long way. I used to exercise in a group of people at a local YMCA, and there used to be over 100 in a gym, and we would all get up and stand in rows, like regimented, like the army do it, and the instructor, who was a phys ed teacher, he would take the exercise and off we go. There was no caps on classes of how many was there because of safety. It was just whoever wanted to exercise would go along and do the classes. So, and we had things like dress up classes, all those sorts of things. And Christmas time, like coming up at the moment, we would all get dressed up. We'd dance along with Christmas carols. And funnily enough, I still do that today. It's a very important part of how I do my classes. What do you think of when someone says they are a group fitness instructor? What reputation do instructors have? Ronke indicated before that it wasn't a very good reputation. Being a group fitness instructor requires commitment, resilience, and a passion to help others. We are all in a very privileged position of speaking into other people's lives. And over the years, I have realised more and more how privileged that position really is. Helping them stay active, participating in their communities so we can take pride in what we do. It's also why it's so important to respect that position and continue learning and growing and challenging ourselves to be better in our roles. And I can't emphasise that enough, that I see a lot of instructors that don't continue with education and they fall back into old habits and their classes become very similar, very boring from my point of view, and they just don't want to grow in what they're doing. When I go to a party and I tell people that I'm a group fitness instructor, some of them sort of start to move away from me a little bit. I think they feel a bit challenged and confronted by that. And I've tried to always encourage people to exercise. Likewise, when I go out for a meal somewhere, if I'm in a group of friends or not necessarily friends, but people who maybe I haven't been out with before, and I will say I'm a group fitness instructor, I can almost see it written across their faces that they look at their meal and think, well, is this what I should be eating? And they feel a bit guilty. But I always say to them, look, you eat what you want and I'll eat what I want, and that's how it'll stay for however long. Training to be a group fitness instructor is challenging, but becoming a good group fitness instructor takes time. You cannot rush it. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of understanding and education. It's not just about teaching exercises to participants. It's far more than that. On the physical side of things, being a good fitness instructor includes good technique, and as an instructor, I place 100% on having good technique, because when the class looks at you, if you don't have very good technique, their technique is always a little bit less than what yours probably is. And so therefore, if your technique is only operating at 75% of what it should be, then your participants are likely to be operating at about half, 50% of where their technique should be. Choosing the appropriate exercises and adapting exercises for injury, putting together effective workouts, that's right for your participants. On a social level, it means being a good listener. Now, sometimes that's hard for us to hear because a lot of the time group fitness instructors are extrovert personalities, and that's why we love them. And but sometimes we have to be good listeners. So along with that, and the importance of exercise, is creating fun in class, that they want to come along and do more. So encouraging them through that. And if they've got any ups and downs in their lives, as we all do at certain times, then your encouragement might just help them get along to a class and feel a lot better about themselves. Sometimes they might need help with what classes to attend. So therefore you would sit down with them or something of that nature over a coffee or something, and assist them by doing that. They might also need some very practical help. They might need a plumber or an electrician. So therefore, it's part of our job to assist them. We might need to ask other participants in the class about, do they know anybody that they can recommend? Some participants respond better to teaching techniques than others, and that's something we need to pick up as instructors. If they can't pick up a step or a routine in class, if you're doing a freestyle routine, then you may later need to get alongside them, and this may be before or after class, and help improve them, maybe to do a step, or it may be an exercise that they just haven't quite got it. So you need to improve their technique. So taking that little bit of extra time is all what a good fitness instructor will do. If you also want to become a good instructor, it's important that you value these additional roles that you will play in the lives of your participants. It's also important that you have training in these areas. You don't need training to help recommend a plumber or a painter, but in these other areas you do. It's also important that you have qualifications. We all have to have them. Even though when I started out, as I said, there was no qualifications, and I'd been instructing for several years and then had to, like Ronke, go back to school and get my qualifications, which I hadn't been at school for quite a few years. So it was very challenging, but it was something that I wanted to do so that I complied with the industry standards. Some qualifications may teach you the exercises, but they won't show you how to handle grumpy participants. And this happens. And we also want to create fun. So if we know how to handle all situations, and you can do this in several courses that people run, or we run courses in how to handle grumpy people. That sounds funny, doesn't it? But you can add all these things in. We want to have lots of good quality, confident instructors in our industry that know how to go that extra mile. And that's one of the great things that you can add to your repertoire as an instructor. This is one of the reasons that I started mentoring fitness instructors who wanted to learn more about becoming great instructors. And there is a very big difference from a group fitness instructor to a great group fitness instructor. But there was nowhere for them to go. Nobody here in Australia really did mentoring on a scale that could help out a regular group fitness instructor. We used to have people that would train people who went into competitive aerobic competitions, but nobody who wanted to just assist somebody who wanted to improve themselves and become a great instructor. So it was also one of the reasons why we started Third Age Fitness. We produce courses specifically for those who want to learn and understand to be confident in teaching their classes. Courses like we've got Introduction to Older Adults, because we are specifically involved with older adults. Our courses all relate to those areas. We have Introduction working with older adults and our Older Adult Level Fitness 1, which is very similar to the Exercise to Music course. They all go into these areas in depth. So you'll be equipped to handle a situation as it arises. So they're all based on personal experiences, other people's experiences, research that we've done. And if you're wanting to be an older adult instructor, well, you need to be specifically qualified in older adults. If you qualify in your general population, the older adults area is one where it does need specific qualifications, because the people you are instructing have very different needs. Once people get over, our older adults are classified as 50 plus. So if you're in the younger age group, that's different. But once you're getting over that 50 plus area, there's a lot of things start happening to the body, and we need to have some additional qualifications. Instructors are always investing time and knowledge into participants, and this is a great privilege. It's also a great responsibility. We just don't do it without thinking of what we're doing. We have to be responsible. We want to be teaching them correctly and not try to make something up on the spot. And how often that happens, that I see instructors just making things up as they go. I don't like it. I don't think it's professional. And I think that it's an area that every instructor can improve on. We should always promote good health and encourage others to improve their lifestyle. And that is, of course, through exercise. Regarding diet, I would tend to steer away from this topic, because we're not, as group fitness instructors, we're not qualified to advise people on what to eat and how much they should eat. If participants come to you with questions, you can share, by all means, your personal experiences, but avoid giving them a professional opinion unless you have training in this area. When you're going to the gym or the fitness centre, have you ever noticed that some instructors have more in their classes, or they get more participants to others in their classes? It could be they do more intensity, more complexity, more commitment, or just more enthusiasm. How do they do it? I don't know whether any of you have ever asked that question, but how do they do it? They might have been at the centre for a long time. Now, quite obviously, we see here in Australia that people who have been at centres for 5, 10, 15 years, they get a following. I'm sure it's the same in England and in Africa. And so that might be one of the reasons why they have more people. It might be a time slot. Here your 5:30, 6:30 time slots, PM in the night. They quite often get more people in. Or they might be just a great fitness instructor So what can you do to improve and be a great fitness instructor? A great fitness instructor has a good mindset. And this is one of the key to being a success. A good instructor engages with the participants all the time. They tell stories. They share some of what they've been doing. They're sharing their lives. They listen to their participants and they follow up on them the next week, or if they're not in class, they will follow up on them until they catch up with them. This builds trust and confidence, but also an enjoyable atmosphere that people just want to be in. If the atmosphere in class is good, that's what people want to be in. It's one of the big things that when you finish your class, particularly if you've got a new participant, you have to make sure that that participant walks back in the door the next week to do their class, because that's what it's all about, keeping people in exercise and keeping them fit and healthy. They'll quite often become invested in your life as well. I know one instructor who said that their participants just come along to her classes each week to hear about her stories, her adventures, her family, her food, and her life in general. Sometimes the food can take over from other areas, but it's good to share recipes and things like that, isn't it? This is why an instructor is so important for participants, and even more important in the older age group, because they tend to cling and more to their instructor than quite often the younger age groups do. And so it's important time to be training and equipping yourself for working with especially that older age group. And quite often in not only older age participants, but it can happen in younger age, people live quite lonely lives. They may live on their own, they may go to work, they may not work, but they may become quite isolated and lonely. And we experienced this in a big way post-COVID, where people were coming back to classes and they'd experienced very long periods of loneliness and isolation, and this affected their mental health badly. So it was so important for them to get back to their classes as quick as they could, make connections with not only the instructor, but their other friends in classes. And people do make friendship in classes. Some, of course, exchange phone numbers, some catch up for coffees or go out to lunches with each other, and that's what they do. A great instructor is a lot of other things. We are professional in all situations and with all people. We are relational, know who you're working with, get to know your participants. I cannot emphasise this enough. We need to be invested in our participants. I understand that if you're taking 10 classes a week, it's not as easy to learn participants' names and get invested in them. But I'm taking 9 classes a week myself, and there's not too many names that I don't know. I go to all sorts of lengths to remember people's names, and because it's just so important. In classes, we're always ready to adapt. You've got to know how to tailor classes to suit your clients with a diverse range of possibly injuries or medical conditions. In both younger and older adults, people are always going to have injuries, and you have to know how to adapt your program to suit that participant. We don't want to send them away from classes. If it's possible for them to do some form of exercise, that's what we want to encourage. Resources and environment can also change during a class. For instance, if the air conditioning goes off or if the power goes off. So always be ready and willing to adapt. Even if you had a great class planned, we just have to be able to adapt, but we always stay positive as we adapt. Now, Third Age Fitness is an accredited academy with Fit Africa. We're very proudly accredited with Fit Africa, and we just love being part of them. Our courses have been assessed and reviewed in Australia, New Zealand and Canada as well. We offer unique courses for those who want to become older adult instructors or are already teaching and want to gain additional knowledge and improve their personal growth in older adults and with online training. And it also includes all the current research and that we do. Our older adult fitness course is equivalent, as I said earlier, to the exercise to music. And it covers all fundamental areas for older adult instructors in that 50+ age group. It covers the ageing process, which is physical, psychological, and physiological. It covers older adults in socially, emotionally, and circumstantially. We deal with musicality, which is keeping on the beat, which is so important. How bad is it when you go into a class and a fitness instructor cannot keep on the beat? It's not good. We have to do better than that. We teach freestyle aerobics routines, and we deal with creating classes. We also teach chair-based exercise, which is an area that is probably a personal preference of mine. I do love teaching chair-based because I love teaching people chair-based that have no idea what you can actually do on a chair. And it's I run across this with fitness instructors. They tend to sometimes look down a little bit on chair-based exercise, but I can get a very good sweat up with chair-based exercise, working all the muscle groups, and have a lot of fun into the bargain. Even dance on the chair, it's fabulous. Great fun. We deal with working with people with limitations and also balance and brain exercises. I don't know if you're younger, you may not run into some of these problems of balance and memory issues, but as we age, we all have some of those happen to us. So we go through all that as well. So that's where I'd like to finish up. And if there's any questions, I'd love to answer them, or if I don't know the answers, I will get back to you. So it's back to you, Ronki.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Carol, for that beautiful presentation. If you have any questions, kindly put it in the chat box. There is something that she said that I would just like to focus on a little bit, which I think we also need to give attention to in the African space. Being a good fitness instructor does not qualify us to become nutritional a dietitian. In the African space, there is this general expectation that if you're a group fitness instructor, automatically you are qualified to put people on a diet, to take them on a weight loss program. It is always advisable to be certified for whatever it is that we are offering people. Because when it comes to the diet and the nutritional space, one jacket does not fit all. There are a lot of people that have health challenges that sometimes some diet programs might not work for them in particular. And if you are not trained in those areas, you might end up putting people at risk. So if as a group fitness instructor, like for example, I did one course, it's called the GP referral certification, that qualifies me as a nutritional advisor. And that is what I call myself. I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a nutritionist, I am a nutritional advisor. And by virtue of my qualification, I can give you recommendation, I can advise, I can suggest. But however, to put you on a strictly weight loss diet program, I'm not qualified to do so. And in the way the African space is developing, there is a need for us to encourage one another to be certified in whatever we are offering people so that we do not put people's life at risk. A lot of people have underlying health issues before they come to our class. And if we start giving them nutritional recommendation that we copy from other people's work or that we see on YouTube or the trend that is going on without factoring in their health challenge, we might be putting their health at risk. So as we begin to, work on developing ourselves, our professional practice in the fitness space, let's be conscious that we stay within the limit of our professional practice, whatever we are certified for. If you want to combine weight loss program with the fitness program you offer, go for nutritional courses that empowers you to be able to offer that. The second thing also that I would like to say, in addition to what Carol mentioned, is that popularity is not indicative of the level of your professionalism. I know that in the African space, we are very passionate about numbers. We are very, very passionate about followership. We are very passionate about, trend. But you see, sustainability will be dependent on content, and it has to do what you invest on yourself. So the encouragement is, let's take time to develop ourselves as instructors so that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you are still in the fitness space. It's so easy. Sometimes crowd can deceive. Crowd can deceive. But what can sustain your impact in the fitness space is the content. And you see, globally, things have changed. So people are more aware now. So you can be an instructor here, you can be an instructor in Nigeria, and you might have clients in US. But you see, standardization is all over now. So people are more aware of what to look out for. So we cannot fool people anymore. People know the things to look out for in a group fitness instructor. So we cannot do textbook teaching anymore. We have to invest in ourselves. We have to be committed to our personal development. We have to be committed to a lifelong learning. So wherever you go, you know that is what you carry. It's not the hype around you. It is what you carry. And it has to do with our own personal investment in growth, to keep learning, to keep developing, to keep learning new things. The fitness space is changed. It has changed tremendously. And every time it's changing, new courses are coming up, new research are coming up. There's a need for us to become learners, lifelong learners. Let it be that when people come to meet you in the studio, they can feel safe. I always see good fitness instructors as is a huge responsibility, because when people come to your studio, they are telling you, okay, for the next 1 hour that I'm going to be with you, I feel safe. I can commit my life in your hand, and I'm confident that whatever you are asking me to do is safe for me. So, that's a huge responsibility. So there's a need for us to be equipped to know what we are offering people so that people can have confidence in what we offer. One thing I've learned is that once people know that you are good at what you do, they will blow you up. That's one thing I've learned. In England, there, once people know that you are good at what you do, you don't need to do a lot of advertisement. They will announce you by themselves. And I think it's applicable everywhere. So let's be invested, in our own personal development. No amount is too small. I have learned over the years, any money you spend to develop yourself, it's like you are saving for your own future. You can think, oh, this money is much. Planning, whatever it's important to us, we always give attention to it. That's one thing I've learned about us as human. So don't allow money to hinder you in developing yourself. Whatever price, there's always a price to pay. If you want to be high in your career, if you want to make a mark, become somebody that will be reckoned with, you must be ready to pay the price. And part of it has to do with taking money out and investing it in your own personal growth. So just as Carol said, if you have any questions or any contribution, I know we have some senior people in the house that are also in the fitness space. If you have contribution, Mr. Maja, I know you are in the fitness, you are here with us. If you have something to share with us, please, you are free to. I'll just quickly like to mention briefly before I round up about a course that I put together. It is an exercise to music course. If you have been a group fitness instructor, this is a foundation course that every group fitness instructor should have. The course will be taking place next year, February. It's a 6 weeks course and it is an online course. There is already a discount price on it. There's already a discount on it. And I'm going to be posting the link in the group chat page. And if you're interested, you can contact me after the program. This is a foundation course for anyone that is interested in being a group fitness instructor. Being a group fitness instructor is not just about, just as Carol said, it's not about moving around, one leg up, one leg down. There's a lot of technique. There are a lot of things that we need to understand in being able to teach people effectively and for them to feel safe. And the world has become a global village now. We cannot do textbook or YouTube training anymore. So you want to have your qualifications so that anywhere you go, you have confidence that you are certified. Now, this course is registered with Fit Africa and it has been accredited by Fit Africa. So if you are not yet qualified as a group fitness instructor, I will recommend that you start out with this foundation course, exercise to music. That once you have done your exercise to music, like you want to build a house, you need to first of all lay the foundation. For any group fitness instructor career development, the foundation to be laid is the exercise to music course. Then on top of that, you can build all kinds of things. When I did this, after that, I did step aerobics, I did kettlebell, I did EAT, I did Pilates, I did GP referral, I did older adult, I did core stability, different kind of courses I've done over the years. But the foundation of it was exercise to music. So I posted the link in the chat box, and I will also ask Carol to post the link for Third Age in the chat fitness box as well. So if you are interested, you can check on their website. I've checked on the website. They have a lot of beautiful courses, especially CPD courses for those that are already certified. Okay, so that is it for now. I don't know if Mr. Maja and Mr. Oh, sorry, one moment, please. Let me stop sharing. I have Mr. Maja in the house, and I also have Mr. Aida, Mr. Maja. I don't know whether you have any.
Maja, let's go for you, Maja. You're in the house.
Yeah. I spotted him. So yes. The floor is open if you have something you would like to share with us. He is also in the fitness space and is a big person in the Nigerian fitness industry. And I'm very sure he has one or two things he would like to share with us, especially for upcoming instructors. So over to you, Mr. Maje. Are you there?
While we wait,
hi,
yeah, he's here. He's here now.
Okay, I wasn't expecting that actually.
Yeah, it's
Hi
good.
everyone.
It's good to give honor to whom honor is due.
Thank
All
you.
right, so over
Look,
to you.
thank you. This has been really, really insightful. I think it's really, really great information, good knowledge. I thank you for the contributions so far. Certification, absolutely vital. It's something that I know we've definitely talked about in multiple seminars to the public, not just from the instructor perspective, also from the end user as well, you know, to actually seek qualification, ask for certification from instructors, especially, you know, personal training, or you're going to use an instructor in a gym, ask if they are certified. Request that. I think, especially out here, it's very important. Yeah, but you know, the industry continues to grow. I just got back from a fitness event this morning. We had over 200 people there. And a 95-year-old man in the crowd working out with us. Incredible stuff. But I like where the market, where the industry is going right now. But as rightly pointed out, it's very, very important to continue to push ongoing education, ongoing development amongst instructors. So, guys, you know, as instructors, focus on your qualifications, but also work on who you are, your levels of empathy, your communication skills. All these things are very important. You need to be able to communicate effectively to your clients, to groups, to institutions. It makes you that much more marketable. It gives you that much more versatility in terms of the kind of jobs that you could actually book if you are a good speaker and are able to communicate. I think one of the interesting things I learned when I was training as a personal trainer was being told to be able to verbally put people into exercise positions without touching them, without making physical contact. And I thought that was very key. And I don't know if a lot of the instructors that I see around know of this or practice this, you know, but it is very important, especially in this Me Too world that we live in now. But learn how to operate. So, yeah, great value. Thanks so much for letting me say anything. But you know, really, I'm here to learn. I'm here to just soak in the information. So keep it going. Thank you. I'm done speaking.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Maja.
What most people don't, one of the in-house secrets is that my real boss is actually here. She's finished class. So I will get Trisha to actually speak rather than me. I'm very good at typing and business things, but when it comes to this thing, I'll pass the real expert on.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Hello, good day, everybody. I'm Trisha Maja. A lot of you haven't seen me before. I'm kind of in the background at the moment, just while we're building what's going on here. But I just want to say congratulations on such a great collaboration. That's so important, you know, and collaborating going forward. I think there's some key elements, even, you know, just mirroring or just echoing what Maja just said about empathy. I think that's really key. I think, you know, Carol, you touched on that when you were saying, basically, you know, have an ear, listen to your participants. I've been working with older people for quite some time now. In fact, I have just had a message saying, oh, when are we getting together? Because we know it's December. So, but, you know, it's about taking time. I mean, I always step out a little bit and do a little bit extra. But, you know, whilst you have people in your sight, and they're in your hands, you have to be the best for them, because we don't know what's going on with them unless we communicate. And I think that was key throughout. Everything that you said, Carol, from what, unfortunately, I was jumping in and out because we have a class ongoing, had a class. So I just want to echo everything that's been said today. It's so key. And I feel that anybody that's here today, that if you want to just, you know, just push through that extra knowledge, then please go ahead and build upon your exercise to music certification, because we all know that, you know, we need to have knowledge, and this is what, you know, this is the platform to do that, education. So, you know, just let's open our minds, invest in ourselves, because that's key. Nobody would be as they are today if we didn't invest in ourselves. Okay, a little bit. This time here that you've taken is investing in yourself. You've taken a little bit more knowledge away. Your mind has been open, and perhaps when you see your, you know, your colleagues now, and even your auntie, your friends, your parents, your grandparents, whatever, you know, people in your family, even, that you have, as much as we have that natural empathy, I would like to say that you will have it even more so. You will extend it, you will start living it as well. So take the time and be with your people, you know, and just be open and just keep learning. That's all I will say. And, you know, congratulations for entering this platform. And, you know, we hope and pray that we will all go to greater heights. So I will say, I will give you back now to our host.
Thank you very much. As we begin to round up, I don't know if anybody has any questions to want to ask any of the people that contributed.
I can see you putting your hands up, Olugben.
Yeah,
Please
can you
unmute
unmute,
yourself.
please? Can you unmute and ask your question, please?
You need to,
You need to unmute.
Unmute, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, can you ask your question, please? Yes.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I so much appreciate you and for this laudable program. I'm Olugbenga once again. The main thing I would like to just add or being like a question is, one, for us to look about this certification is very, very important, and for us to show, even for encouragement and even for us to proceed. But what about licensing? Because I look anything in the medical, if there is no license that back off in case of the legal liabilities of even the risk we are taking with some clients that even used to come to us or we take care of in the group fitness programs. So I don't know what this kind of a program can do to even ensure that we get licensed so that we cover up from any legal aspect of the matter, that we elevate us and be able to have a confidence in this kind of a job. Thank you.
Can I answer, or do you guys want to answer that one?
Yeah, you can answer, then I'll say something later.
Yes, that's a very, very important question. Obviously, as was mentioned, you can't build a house without your Wendy, we see you as well. It must be very early in America right here, so we'll ask you. Thank you so much for coming in. You can't build a house without your foundation. So the licensing and certification are actually two slightly separate things of two sides of the same coin. So what you have is that you have your certification, your documentation that shows that you're actually qualified to do what you are doing. With that, then you can then go to the insurers and get insurance, because what you're actually talking about is a legal liability, which means that you need to be able to actually get insurance. This is another level of something that is not in Africa, basically, that is actually out there in the rest of the Western world. So, for example, we have global insurance, 1 million. It sounds like a lot of money. You can get £1 million, you can get £5 million. Some people ask that you can't work in their facility. I think for
5 million. Yeah. In fact, yes, because my insurance for our elderly clients is up to 5 million plus. So.
And that's pounds, or not naira, or not Kenyan shillings. So that's like $5 million, because you don't know. And if you have insurance for $1 million, they will not even allow you to actually operate for elderly clients, because what they see is that the risk factor is high, that you can actually injure someone. So it is not so much that your license or your certificate will prevent you from doing. Accidents can still happen, in as much as what we're doing. I think we were talking with Maje the other day, yesterday, and we mentioned something. Maje, you can probably back us up here. What you can be is prepared, best prepared. Accidents can happen. You can be the fittest person in the world. God forbid you can have heart attack. But what you do is you prepare yourself as best as possible. We are not, there's no miracle here. There's no sort of cure. The license does not somehow prevent you from an accident happening. It can happen. So what you do is that but you will not be able to get insurance. Try and go anywhere and get an insurance document for $1 million, $5 million without certification. They will run you away because you are too high a risk for them. So as an industry, in Africa as a whole, we don't even get our insurance from Africa, from Nigeria. We get our insurance in the UK, and then we have it as a global insurance so that it covers us anywhere in the world.
But so I was just going to say, but perhaps this is, I mean, this is not the first time this conversation has come up. So I think, you know, this is part of what Fit Africa will look at, you know, on a wider scale. We know that we need these things. So it's a great question, and it's very important, Lubega. So, you know, thank you for raising that.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the job that we're actually doing, that when we say we use a word, we use a particular word, advocate. And I know the question has been asked a couple of times that obviously in terms of accreditation, and we made it very, very clear that we ourselves, whilst we have the capacity to do training ourselves, because of conflicts of interest, we basically don't do training ourselves. But in terms of what we are doing, we are focused on advocating for the industry. So it means that if we have 500 members, 1,000 members, then you can go to the insurance companies and actually show them that we have this many members and we need to get insurance for our members.
Sorry, battery.
Sorry, but bear with me. So that's an important thing. So you need numbers. I'm always saying you need numbers, because if you go to the insurance company and it's just yourself, it's very difficult to get it. But when you're going with numbers backing that, we've got these number of qualified, certified instructors, then we can negotiate deals on behalf of the industry for this very important question. Because the truth be told, we've been avoiding many disasters in Africa. We've been in this industry since you know, close to 15 years, and we know you know, there isn't those things that are actually there. And God forbid that, you know, what we know, we are very blessed people in Africa, that we tend to avoid potential issues. But just because we have avoided it so long does not mean that if you keep on running your luck, that one day, God forbid, something should actually happen. So that's why we are very, very keen and very, very pushed and motivated to do this, because we've been there when, as Trisha used to say, people used to open their gym in their kitchen or their dining room. We have actually literally seen people say.
I mean, to be honest, sorry, just to say, this what Akin is saying is very important, because that was the root of all of this journey. The fact is that, you know, when we started, I mean, obviously I've been in the business for quite a long time, not as long as, I have to give respect to my elders here, so not as long as our hosts here, Carol, you know, Ronke. But what I would say is that, you know, our journey, I don't know what Aki's doing. When it first started, and we felt, you know, we felt momentum, and we felt that we had a great thing. We had a message that we wanted to bring, and wellness and looking after yourself, changing the mindset of corporate people. That's Maje's specialty. But for us, it was that vision of your fat cat with your scotch and your big cigar. But even just our own clients and so on, you know, we saw young people or other instructors coming in and looking and seeing. And just like you say, you can't just learn from, well, you can learn from YouTube if you study, but you take your certification as well. I mean, you know, what we saw was the people thinking that they had a bit of information and that they could go and set up. They had no idea about, you know, the anatomy. They had no idea about anything else on top of that. That's the bare bones of the anatomy. Everything else, they didn't have any other clue. So this journey was started from there to actually change that mindset, to give the opportunity to those people to actually learn and to train them and bring them up. So we've done that, and now we have arrived, you know, where we are through hard work, and we all know that certification is key. It will give opportunity, apart from, you know, just, you know, expanding your mind and giving you yourself your power to be confident in what you're doing and to be great in what you're doing. Because ultimately we are dealing with people. We have their lives in our hands, whatever it is, everything that, because like I think there was a reference to, or this could be in partly our conversation with Maja yesterday about influencers and spokespeople. Now, if you're an influencer and you haven't got the right right knowledge, you don't want to influence people in the wrong way. You can injure them. So just going back, know your craft, work on it, you know, be the best you can, and then you will feel, you know you're doing the right thing. You will leave your legacy. That is it, you know. So I just wanted to say that from quacks in the kitchen, you know, we, as much as we don't want to see that anymore, we also want to help those people to have a road that they can travel. You know.
Thank you so much, Olubenga. It was a very good
Very
answer. But
interesting.
sorry we're taking up so much of
Yeah,
time. Back to
sorry.
the two.
I have to,
Yeah.
it's the endorphins, because I've just been
Sorry,
doing
yeah,
stuff.
she,
So.
she's
Yeah.
got all the endorphins flowing.
Thank you so much for that contribution. I think it's an area that we need to give attention to start talking about insurance now, for people to, especially for people that run classes on their own. For example, in England here, there are two ways you can get insured. If you work with an organization, you are covered. But if you run private classes, like I run classes in some of the community halls, we have to get insurance. Just as Tricia said, I had to get insurance of over £5 million every year to cover me. And some of the hall will not even take you on to use the premises to teach without you submitting evidence of your insurance. And it's just for your own safety. I've had people fall in my class. I teach older adults, and I've had a fall in my class that I've had to report. So anything can happen at any time. And it's important that we give attention to all these things. So I think it's an area that we also need to start talking about so that people become aware that just as we're talking about certification, there's also need for insurance, especially if you run your own personal business. If you're working for organization, you might be covered corporately, but if you run private classes by the side, then you need to get insured for your own safety and also for the safety of the people that attend your class. I don't know if Carol has anything to say before we round up.
No, I'm fine. Thank you,
All
Ronki.
right, okay. There's somebody that posted a comment in the chat box and I'll quickly like to read. It says,
Yes, it's possible.
um,
Actually, we got a sports lawyer in the house, Andy.
okay,
So
he's the one that posted in the.
he's the one that posted. So
Okay.
Andy, please do speak because it's
All
your
right,
field.
okay, let me ask him.
Yeah, we got a legal expert
All
in the
right,
house.
can you please unmute and say something? Okay, thank you. Is he there?
Maybe, yeah, just
read the statement.
We'll just read the statement.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay,
guys.
Dave.
Okay, all right,
Good
okay.
day, everyone. I'm happy to be here. Yes, I've been listening to the conversation, quite insightful, and I've learned a lot too. What I just wanted to talk about is from my perspective, from my experience, we find out that Nigeria is a peculiar place where, we have a lot of fitness outreach. We have you go around, you see how passionate people are about fitness, but there's really no serious form of organization, regulation, or anything of that sort going on. Most times, from my experience working with either young people or others informally, you find out that injuries have occurred, People have borne their, borne their damage and all that alone. And sometimes life-threatening and career-ending injuries result. People don't even know where to go to. And from our side, we know how these things are done elsewhere, out there where you are. You know that, there are so many things we do and get away with here that cannot be done out there. And we know it's not going to continue like this. As the fitness space opens, as the world gets, more civilized around here, we expect that things cannot be done like this anymore. So I begin to see the reason. I've been trying to even inculcate that in a lot of the people I work with, that we need to inculcate this habit of knowing exactly what the law says, because everybody, no matter what we do, any part of the world, we work within a legal environment. That is just the truth of it. We work within a legal environment, but we tend to overlook that here in Nigeria. I don't know about other parts of Africa, but I know that's what happens here. Okay, so we need to train our trainers to know what things to do and what not to do from the legal point of view. We need to make people know that when you are in charge of a group or any individual at all, and you are an expert, the law requires you to act in a certain way, okay? Because anything can result. People might just just like the host mentioned about nutrition. If you're not a nutritional expert, you're not expected to give certain form of advice. That's exactly what I'm saying. Now, what if you are not a nutritional expert and you give an advice that someone is dissatisfied with? If you're dissatisfied with what you have given as an advice, or a result in an injury, what happens? So many people don't know that you have such liability, you have such responsibility towards others. People just dish out whatever they want. I worked in an environment where even in a national training facility like the National Stadium, you see athletes being handled by coaches who are not even certified, and they even give them steroids to build muscles and all that. No regulation whatsoever. Nobody monitors these people and all whatnot. So I think it's important that we build this into any training program, so that our experts should be experts in every sense of the word. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think he has said it all, really, nothing more to add. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. Third Age Fitness is here. Carol, can you please post the Third Age Fitness link into the chat box, so that if anybody, let me see if there's even a way I can post it. If anybody is interested, okay, yeah, all right. Okay, if anybody is interested, in some of the courses they offer, you can always get across to them. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. Hopefully we'll have more of this. Let's keep developing ourselves. Let's keep working ourselves, and we believe we have a greater future ahead of us in the fitness space in Africa. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much. Wendy, can we get you to say something since your camera is on? And it's very early. You came in, it must be like 4 a.m. in the US.
We can't hear you.
Oh, perhaps it's the setting.
Maybe you should log out and then log in again. Sometimes it happens. If you can log out and then log in again.
She'll be back. Is there anyone that wanted to round it off? It's very late in Australia. We had people in America. We just wanted to sort of highlight the fact that obviously in this, something that you said, the industry is global. So it's like 8, 9 o'clock in Australia right now in your part of the world, Carol. It's 7 o'clock, no, 10 o'clock in the UK.
Yeah, 10 o'clock in the morning.
Good morning. And what time is it with you, Carol?
Nearly 9:30 in the evening.
In the evening.
Saturday evening.
All right.
And I think for Wendy, it was around 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. So we live in a global world. Just to sort of reiterate the point where that was mentioned earlier on, that obviously we're interconnected now, wherever we are in the world. So in Africa, we can't believe that obviously that we're separate from the way things are done. We were very lucky to have a sports lawyer, Andy, in here, because obviously, especially in this, whilst we talk about the fitness industry, we're actually really talking about the fitness, health, wellness, and sports industry. So in the sports industry, when he talks about career-ending injuries, if you as a trainer is training a sports person and you injure them, that could actually end their career. So these sort of things are very, very important. We've got to realize that these are things that are very serious. Many people's careers have been ended and nothing happens, and we just accept that that's how things are done. But it's very, very important going forward that we live in an interconnected industry. Some of the conversations that we were having with Maja yesterday was about the mental health wellness space. It's not just about fitness. In as much as that was our original background, we're actually talking about a wellness industry, which is so much more broader. You know, it's your physical, your mental, your spiritual health. So all of these things come together in what we're actually doing. So Wendy, I don't know if you've...
I think she's back now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, she's back now. Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm having problems this morning. I do apologize.
What time is it there, Wendy? We just wanted to use you to make a point that we live in a global world.
It is 4:25 a.m. So it's very early.
We do thank you for making it, because we know that sometimes in terms of commitment to what we're doing, we're just sort of highlighting that it's 9:30 for Carol in Australia. It's 4:30 for PM. It's 4:30 a.m. for you, but you're here.
Yes.
So when we talk about commitment to what we're doing, we do apologize, because obviously we usually make time, but it did clash with the class of us, but we were committed. We're here. Maje is coming. He had an event, but he's here. You got to make time to commit to what you're doing. Sometimes it's not financial. Sometimes your time is of value. So you commit to your own time, because you come out of this meeting. I'm coming out of this meeting wiser, more knowledgeable. And I made a point. I don't know if it was obvious. I'm a businessman. I'm in the business of fitness. But just like everyone says, when Roque was asking me to talk, I can talk about this part of it. But I know I have always made sure that I will tell you, practice what you preach. My wife is the expert, so I would not talk on things I don't know about. Because if I'm actually doing things and I'm telling you not to do it, but I'm showing an example, I can only talk on what I know. It's more about knowing the limits of your knowledge. So yes, I can talk about the business of fitness and general things. But when it comes to specific things to do with fitness, I'm the world's best participant, but I'm not a trainer. So, but you have to practice what you preach, because if you see me going past my own personal boundaries just because I feel I can, then how can I expect someone else not to go past their personal boundaries? We must know about boundaries. So on that note, please, Wendy, go ahead.
Well, I would like to just briefly say that, education and certification, and as well as the insurance amount, is all critical to your success. It's critical to the organization, to Fit Africa, to Africa Active as a whole, because we're creating physical activity behavior changes. I mean, when we are certified and we're educated and we're able to properly instruct our clients, to exercise in the proper way, use equipment in the proper way. Not only do we reduce liability, within our classes or in our gyms, we're also reducing that liability when our clients are not around us. You know what I mean? So it's just very important that we have that. So it's just, I am just so excited and so honored to have just been a part of this for many years now. And you are in the best place for the best education, the best instruction. We're creating a legacy for our people and for our globally, everybody. We just want our legacy to sustain. And I can't speak enough about how important all of this is. So thank you all.
Thank you very much. Thank
Mhm.
you. So
Mhm.
that's it for now. Thanks to everyone for joining. And hopefully we'll come your way another time with another program that will enrich all of us. So have a lovely weekend. Thank you so much. All right. So it's bye for now.